If a noble-minded man or woman fill the incalculable Buddha spheres in unutterable and innumerable number, equal to the dust motes of the 10 quarters, with the 7 exquisite gems, and with the highest joys of men and devas, offer all as gifts to the beings of all worlds, and offered the same in adoration to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of all worlds, and continued such offerings for a period of kalpas of Buddha countries equal to the dust motes of the universe in number, and so produced great stores of merit, yet such an offering would be infinitesimal in comparison with the merit acquired by one who has only listened to the very King of Vows. The measure of the stock of merit of the former one would not equal 100th part of the latter, nay, not 1,000th part, even not to an upanishadth part of the merit of the latter. Again, whosoever has profound faith in this great vow and will accept, recite, or write even one gatha of 4 lines only, such will quickly expiate the 5 deadly sins and all physical illness or mental anguish and afflictions of the mundane world. Even his sinful deeds equal to the dust motes of all Buddha lands in number will be blotted out. All malignant forces, yakas, rakasasas, kumbhandas, pisakas, bhutas, bloodsuckers, and cannibals, all such evil spirits will keep afar from him, or even willingly protect him by acting as his tutelary gods. Therefore, he who recites these vows will have no obstacles to impede his progress wherever he goes in the world, as the moon comes out from the hazy clouds. Praised by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, he will be honored by men and devas, and adored by all beings. This noble-minded man is well incarnated in a human body, and has brought to perfection all the merits and virtues of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. He will soon become like the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, with the glorious body of bliss, resplendent with the 32 attributes of a hero. If he be born in the Deva or human worlds, such a one will always be born into most noble class, and he will destroy all evil influences and keep away from wicked friends. He will be free from all passions. He will conquer the men of wrong doctrines. He will be like unto the king of lions, able to subdue all animals. He deserves to receive gifts from all beings. Again, when such a person comes to die, and at the last kasana approaches death, all his sense organs perish, all kinsmen and relatives are abandoned, all influences are lost, his state ministers and courtiers are departed, trappings of the inner or outer palaces, elephants and horses, carriages, jewels and the treasure repositories, all such are left behind. However, the King of Vows will be his sole companion, and will forsake him not, but at all times will go before him and lead him to Sukhavati, the world of highest happiness, the land of Buddha Amitabha. In a kasana, having already reached that Buddha land and been reborn there, upon his arrival he sees the Buddha Amitabha, surrounded by the Bodhisattvas Manjusri, Samantabhadra, Avalokitesvara, Maitreya, and others. These are of magnificent form and noble appearance, and are perfected with all virtues and merits. While the man finds himself born from the lotus flower and favored by the Buddha with the prediction of attaining Buddhahood in the future, after having received the Vaikarana, he will pour out the power of his wisdom to benefit all beings according to their faith or the strength of their mind. Such deeds shall be performed throughout the 10 quarters of infinite and innumerable worlds. Soon he will be sitting in the Bodhi Mandala, quelling the forces of Mara, attaining enlightenment, and rotating the wondrous wheel of Dharma. so will he enable the innumerable worlds of Buddha lands, in number as infinitesimal dust motes, to direct their minds toward the attainment of Bodhi according to their ability and nature, being brought to maturity thereby. And so he will continue doing such things throughout coming kalpas, and thus widely benefit all beings. O noble-minded man, whosoever of the multitude has awakened faith on hearing this great king of vows, observes, reads, recites, and widely preaches it to others, the merits produced thereby none but the Buddha can estimate. Therefore, you should allow no doubts to cloud your minds on hearing this king of vows, but carefully accept, read, recite, and put the teaching into actual practice and publish it to others. Such persons will attain to the fulfillment of this vow by a single thought, and their accumulation of bliss acquired therefrom is boundless. It can deliver all beings from the great ocean of pain and sorrow, and ensure their rebirth in the paradise of Buddha Amitabha. Thereupon, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Samantabhadra, in confirmation of this truth, turning around to the 10 quarters, uttered the following stanzas. 1. I worship all the lions among men of the worlds of the 10 quarters and 3 yugas. With my pure body, speech, and mind, I do homage to them all, without exception. 2. By the divine power of the merits and vows of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, I manifest myself before all Tathagatas. From my original body emanate innumerable bodies, and with each of my bodies I do homage to the innumerable bodies, and with each of my bodies I do homage to the innumerable Buddhas simultaneously. 3. I deeply believe that in a grain of dust there exist countless Buddhas and assemblies of Bodhisattvas. Likewise, that the dust and boundless circles of the Dharma are filled with Buddhas. 4. Emitting from the ocean-like infinity all voices, with the wondrous speeches, I praise the profound merits and virtues of Buddhas, and continue to do so through all eons in the future. 5. I present Tathagatas with the best gifts of flowery canopies, banners, garlands, fragrant ointments, and music. 6. Again, I offer to Tathagatas the best garments, incenses, lamps, and candles in an assemblage as high as Mount Sumeru. 7. Through my wise understanding and high inspiration, I have profound faith in all Buddhas of the 3 yugas. By the power of the merits and vows of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, I adore and serve all Tathagatas without omission. 8. The various wickednesses I committed in the past are derived from time without beginning, and through avarice, hatred, and from infatuation of bodily actions, speech, and thoughts, I now repent and abstain from them all. 9. Any merit or virtue of all Tathagatas or the Bodhisattvas, the thoroughly learned ones and the partly learned one of the 2 vehicles, even of the ordinary beings of the 10 quarters, I approve all and am pleased with. 10. Those pioneers of Bodhi and the brilliant ones who are to be likened unto a lamp illuminating the worlds of the 10 quarters and the 3 yugas, I request them to turn the wondrous wheel of the Dharma. 11. When the Buddhas set their minds on the attainment of nirvana, I earnestly entreat them to remain in the worlds for the duration of boundless kalpas in order to benefit and delight all beings. 12. All the treasures of merit and roots of goodness produced from the 10-fold aspiration of Samantabhadra I shall turn over to all beings in their favor and in Buddhahood. 13. I follow the ways of the Tathagatas and elaborate the merits of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra in completion, making offerings out of veneration for the Tathagatas in the 10 quarters and of the 3 generations. 14. I desire to carry out the principles of the teachers of devas and men to their satisfaction, and I train myself by studying their teachings and quickly reach the goal of great Bodhi. 15. The Buddha countries of the 10 quarters are vast, pure, and magnificent. There, the Tathagatas are surrounded by various assemblies, respectfully under each Bodhi tree, the king of trees. 16. I wish that the beings in the 10 quarters may be free from passions and afflictions, and be always happy. May they acquire the deep profit of the right Dharma. May they tear out the passions, even to the very root. 17. When I strove for the attainment of Bodhi, I was able to gain the supernormal powers of remembering previous lives and karmas in all worlds wheresoever I was born, and during each of my pre-existences I attained the same knowledge. Always I joined the order, observed the pure precepts strictly, without stain or leakage. 18. There are devas, nagas, yakas, gambandhas, men and subhumans, etc., to whom I preach the law, by using various voices befitted to their native languages. 19. Diligently cultivating the pure paramitas, I forget not the Bodhi heart. Annihilating hindrances and defilements without exception, I achieved all the marvelous merits. 20. I am able to free myself from worldly life and the environment of Maras, just as the lotus flower shoots up from the water, but it is not wetted thereby, and as the sun and moon appear in the void, but abide not in it. 21. I relieve the distress of the beings of all evil realms, and equally bestow happiness on them. I continue to do so throughout the lapse of boundless kalpas, and in the extent of the 10 quarters of the universe. The benefits for all are eternal and omnipresent. 22. I will always be harmonious to the beings and render them aid, and will continue such doings throughout all coming kalpas. And I will cherish the great merits of Samantabhadra, and perfect the supreme great Bodhi thereby. 23. All my fellow devotees shall be gathered together from all parts. Our bodily, speech, mental deeds are equivalent to one another. We study the same doctrine and vows together. 24. Any well-learned man who shows me the practice of the vows of Samantabhadra thus benefits me. I wish always to be in his company. May he be pleased with me. 25. I desire to see the Tathagatas often, and also their retinue, the sons of Jina. I will make vast offerings of veneration to them in all coming kalpas without cessation or indolence. 26. I desire to magnify and expand all the activities of Bodhi by applying the wondrous Dharma of Buddhas, perfecting the pure doctrine of Samantabhadra by studying and practicing it throughout all the coming kalpas. 27. Among all the beings, I will cultivate merits and wisdom boundlessly. Thereby, I will gain a never-exhausting store of samadhi, prajna, upaya, and multi-moksha. 28. A single grain of dust contains therein the incalculable countries. In each country dwell incalculable Buddhas. Each Buddha is surrounded by many assemblies. I see them constantly performing the practice of Bodhi. 29. Throughout the ocean-like system of worlds, and the ocean-like gatherings of the Buddhas of the 10 quarters, whereof each hair point appears as an ocean-like system of the 3 yugas, I will cultivate my merit by passing through all these oceans, and continue to do so for the period of an ocean of kalpas. 30. The speeches of all Tathagatas are pure and clear. Each word comprises the ocean of all voices, and respectively swelling the ocean of the orations of Buddhas. In order to preach the Dharma for the beings according to their understandings and pleasure, the various forms of speech are applied. 31. All the Tathagatas of the 3 ages possess the ocean of everlasting speech, and constantly rotate the wheel of the wonderful meaning of truth. Such I thoroughly fathomed by my profound wisdom. 32. I can clearly behold the state of the future, and I combine all coming kalpas into a single thought. I penetrate all the kalpas of the 3 ages thoroughly in a mental flash of vision. 33. I can foresee the 3 ages by one thought. Those who are called lion among men also can enter the Buddha state, as it were in a phantasm or vision, and that power enables them to reach the stage of emancipation. 34. From the smallest breath, as that of the point of a hair, come forth the magnificent and holy countries of the 3 yugas. I penetrate deeply all the innumerable, magnificent, and pure countries of the hair points of the 10 quarters. 35. I come into contact with those who shall be the light of the world in the future, who will be enlightened, and will turn the wheel of the Dharma to awaken all beings. They will enter into nirvana after having perfected their Buddha works. With all of these, I will be friendly. 36. May I possess the following powers: the power of Abhijna, which goes over every part of the world with supernormal speed; the power of Mahayana, which penetrates the universal gate of all directions; the power of merits and virtues, which is wisely and widely cultivated; and power of great compassion, which shelters all who come for that refuge through the divinity and grace of the Buddhas. 37. Again, the power of blessing dignifies and purifies every part of the world. The power of wisdom is independent, is attached to nothing, and abides nowhere. The power of concentrated immobility of meditation or samadhi, wisdom or prajna, and expedient means or upaya are endowed with supernormal might. The power of bodhi is in the positive and accumulative nature throughout every part. 38. Also, the power of purity refines all meritorious deeds. The power of destruction destroys all passions or kleshas. The power of conquest subdues all maras. The power of fulfillment perfects the merits of Samantabhadra. 39. I wish to extend my power in the following directions. May I be able to purify and embellish the ocean of all the worlds. May I emancipate all beings from the ocean of life and death. May I be able to discern the ocean of various dharmas. May I be able to enter deeply into the ocean of wisdom. 40. Also, may I be able to purify the ocean of all conduct. May I fulfill the ocean of all wishes and perfection. May I be in close touch with and serve the ocean of Buddhas. I shall cultivate and cherish the principle without weariness through the duration of an ocean of kalpas. 41. All the Tathagatas of the 3 yugas have their exalted activities and vows of Bodhi, which I fully practice in their adoration as my offerings. I shall be enlightened by the conduct of Samantabhadra. 42. All the Tathagatas have their eldest son of the Dharma, whose name is Samantabhadra. I now turn all my good roots toward the attainment of wisdom and behavior. May I be tantamount to the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra in all his qualities. 43. I wish that my body, speech, and thoughts always be pure, and that the behavior of others of the various worlds may be the same. Whosoever possesses such wisdom is entitled, quote, Samantabhadra. I wish that I shall be equivalent to him in every quality. 44. For the purpose of purifying all my virtues of Samantabhadra and the great vows of Manjushri, may I fulfill all those duties to the utmost without any omission. May I continue my task through the coming kalpas without weariness. 45. My cultivation of merit is boundless. Therefore have I acquired boundless good deeds. I abide myself in the boundless virtues and attained the high understanding of all supernormal powers. 46. I now turn over my accumulated virtues toward the attainment of the brave or sharp advance of Manjushri and the wise conduct of Samantabhadra. May I follow the ways of them and study ceaselessly. 47. I now devote my merits on the expectation of gaining the most excellent conduct of Samantabhadra. Such great vows will be praised by the Buddhas of the 3 generations. 48. I wish that at the approach of death I may annihilate all hindrances. Thus I may be able to see the Buddha Amitabha face to face, so that with his aid I may go and be reborn in his peaceful and happy world. 49. Upon my rebirth in that world, I shall actually fulfill my great aim, realize my every wish without any omission, and offer the benefits and happiness to all beings. 50. The members of the assembly of that Buddha are pure and holy. Even so am I, springing into existence by apparitional birth from the pure and holy flower of the lotus, and seeing face to face the Tathagata of infinite splendor. In his presence I shall receive assurance of my destiny to attain Bodhi, namely Vyakarana. That is, the Buddha announces that so-and-so will become a Buddha at such and such a time. 51. When I have been favored by that Tathagata with the prediction, then I reveal myself by transformation into incalculable bodies of myriads of kotis in number, being possessed of great power and wisdom, extending over the 10 quarters, in order to benefit the various beings in all the worlds. 52. When the infinitude of the universe comes to an end, beings and their karmas and passions all are ended. Nevertheless, my vows of aspiration are ultimately and solely endless. 53. He who offers the precious gifts, produced from the boundless countries of the 10 quarters, in honor of Tathagatas, and offers the best enjoyments to the devas and human beings for a duration of kalpas equal in number to the finest atoms of dust composing all the worlds, make merits beyond computation. 54. On the other hand, he who, upon hearing of this king of unique vows, and thus being awakened to faith with the intention of seeking the wonderful Bodhi in fervent aspiration, will acquire merits in consequence thereof which are still greater than the former one. 55. Thus, He will keep afar from wicked advisers, and never sink into any of the evil realms. Moreover, he will soon see the Tathagata of infinite light. These are all the results of the wonderful vows of Samantabhadra. 56. Such a person will easily be born in the human world and enjoy an excellent life of longevity. He will soon attain the Bodhisattvahood of Samantabhadra. 57. In past times, owing to the lack of wisdom, I have committed the most wicked 5 deadly sins. These will be expiated in a moment of thought by reciting this great king of vows of Samantabhadra. 58. If he wishes to be born in the human or deva worlds, he is certain to be a member of the highest race, perfecting with noble lineages and wisdom. No enemies of other religions or Maras can subdue him. Moreover, he is worthy to be adored by the triple worlds. 59. Hasten to the king of great trees, the tree of Bodhi. Sitting there, subdue the Maras. Attain enlightenment and turn the wheel of Dharma in order to benefit all sentient beings. 60. If there be anyone who observes, recites, and preaches the vows of Samantabhadra, the result thereof none is able to estimate except the Buddhas. He infallibly will attain the supremacy of Bodhi. 61. Whosoever recites the vows of Samantabhadra, I affirm that, having planted good roots, at least they will bring every quality of Dharma into completion by a single thought, and finally will be able to deliver the beings so as to fulfill his pure vows. 62. My practice of the unique vows of Samantabhadra, from which boundless and marvelous blessedness is produced, are all to be turned over to the beings who are deeply sunken into the sea of pain and sorrows, or of birth and death. Wishing them all to be delivered, I pray that they may soon attain to the country of the Buddha of infinite splendor. When the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Samantabhadra had concluded his great oration on the great king of vows, and had recited the pure Gathas before the Tathagata, the Kumara Sudana was overwhelmed with joy, and all the Bodhisattvas enraptured with ecstasy. The Tathagata applauded, "Excellent, excellent." At the assembly where this inconceivable state of emancipation and exalted Dharma was proclaimed, there were present the world-honored one and a great company of the saints, Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas, with the Bodhisattva Manjushri at the head of the assembly. The great Bodhisattvas, with their fully trained 6,000 bhikshus, were led by the Bodhisattvas Maitreya. All the great Bodhisattvas of the Bhadrakalpa were led by Bodhisattva Vaimala Samantabhadra. The Ekajati Pratyeka Buddhas, who are in the stage of Murdhati Jikata, and the great Bodhisattvas and others of the 10 quarters of the various worlds, all were present in this congregation. Great and exalted beings of the ocean of worlds, equal in number to the smallest dust motes of all the worlds, all these were led by the great wise one Sariputra, and by the Mahamaugalyayana. There were present also great Shravakas, Devas, rulers of the worlds, the Nagas, the Yakas, Gandharvas, Asuras, Garudas, Kinnaras, and Mahoragas, human and subhuman. And the whole multitude, on hearing the discourse of the Buddha, were inspired with great joy to faithful observance of the vows. Here ends the vows of Samantabhadra.